Hello, my name is Lori Lamonto. I am a licensed professional counselor and a licensed drug and alcohol counselor. This channel is going to be called Courage to Change. Many of the things that we'll be talking about is going to be trauma-based situations. I'm going to be trying to incorporate some healing processes, some steps to take the courage to change and face some of your fears, but also it'll involve maybe your brain and genetics and DNA. For me personally, I got interested in this because I've had my own trauma. I've been in therapy my whole life with blind spots and things that I've had to address, things that I know were stemmed from my trauma. So I got into this field. I focus on a lot of trauma-based clients, a lot of drug and alcohol clients, and I can start to see some of the symptoms and signs. So today I'm going to give some symptoms and signs, things that might show that you could be someone who is really struggling with overcoming some of the past traumas. I mean, the first thing I think you need to know, one of the first things is trauma, complex PTSD could be at any time in your life. It doesn't have to only be childhood. Complex can be even later, that you've been in an abusive relationship. What complex means is continual, it's repetitive, it keeps repeating itself over and over. So complex PTSD is something that actually can change your brain, your DNA, the way that you feel in your body, the stress in your body. So one of the symptoms would be that you might be chronically ill. You might have some migraines. You might have lupus. You might have an autoimmune disorder. You might have some kind of diabetes at a young age. You might have irritable bowel, okay, things with your stomach and digestion. And it started at a young age. And honestly, complex trauma, which is again repetitive and consistent, whether childhood or adulthood, will cause some DNA difficulties and nervous system difficulties. It's going to be stuck in your body. Trauma gets stuck in the body, and many people will go to medical doctors and deal with that, and that's important. Go get a medical checkup and make sure you get the proper care. But the sign, sometimes I'll see 15-year-olds and 20-year-olds and 25-year-olds who actually have full-time migraines all the time, or full-time IBS or fibromyalgia, and things that they have no answer for, and they're chronically ill. So this is one of your first signs, whether a child, middle life, or adult life, okay? That would be one of the first real signs that you have something. Another sign, obviously a second one, would be mental health issues, anxiety, depression, something that seems to be OCD, issues that have to do with maybe even overreactive and can't regulate your emotions, can't have cognitive distortions. You might have different things in your mind that are unhealthy thoughts, and yet the depression and the anxiety and the OCD or the PTSD has actually caused a mental health perspective and needing some clinical help, whether it be medication or talk therapy. Okay, these are some of the main two. I would like to hit on also survival mode. A third one would be survival mode. Survival mode to me is one that is very important. There's this hypervigilance, and if you don't know what that word means, hypervigilance is where you actually are on your toes all the time. When you were a child or in an abusive relationship, you had to scan the atmosphere. You had to pay attention and observe. You had to look around to see what people's energy was, what was unpredictable, their body language, maybe the way their footsteps were when they come home from work, or what they might have been doing, okay? And that I need to be on my best behavior. I need to be very aware. I heard a certain sigh. That just means we're about to maybe start something. So the hypervigilance is something that has been very prominent, studied and researched, that when someone is a trauma victim, they have this hypervigilance. And the thing that happens, which sort of goes into the next step, I think that would be 4, would be this hypervigilance also comes to now trust in relationships. Okay, there's a lack of trust. You actually are afraid, you're investigative, you're observing, you're intuitive, your gut instincts, you're paying attention to the energy and the vibe of a partner. You are being over, expressive or overreactive because you're on your toes. Okay, so there's this hypervigilance that you can bring into other relationships, jobs, personal, romantic, friendships, this hypervigilance of just not trusting. Okay, I don't trust people. I'm not safe around people. Okay, so when you feel unsafe, that's going to be something that shows I don't have good trust. Okay, so we now come to which happens with, again, now number 6. 6 would be, okay, if people take my energy and I'm constantly on my toes and I have to be hyper vigilant and I'm investigative and I don't have good trust issues, sometimes then you can become an isolator. Let me just stay home. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, no matter what goes on in my life, I'm not heard. I don't know how to handle the situation. They don't listen to me anyway. I cause a ruckus potentially, okay, because I'm on my toes and hypervigilant and I don't trust. So then isolation can become a problem, okay? We've had 6 so far, okay? So the 7th one, which really, these aren't in a proper order, okay? These can come in any different order of trauma, but another one would be substance abuse, okay? So if you have anxiety, you have depression, you have PTSD, you have trust issues, you're hypervigilant, you feel sick, you don't feel well, substance abuse becomes another one. Okay, so here, I think we're on 7, substance abuse would be the one that is an escape. I'd rather escape from my trauma. I'd rather escape from the memories. Okay, 8 would be flashbacks, memories, recall, flashbacks. So sometimes people would do substance abuse to get rid of their flashbacks. Okay, to get rid of the memory, to just numb themselves so they don't actually have to think about these things that are happening to them. Okay, so there's multiple symptoms. Okay, and you know, I think that if you see yourself in some of this, if you see yourself as someone who does struggle and has these symptoms, don't be hard on yourself. Have compassion on yourself, that there's ways to heal it. There's ways to get, you know, healthier relationships, a healthier way of managing your emotions, a healthier way to have an experience that you can change your DNA again. I mean, the brain is plasticity, okay? Our bodies can heal, but it takes a lot of courage to heal it. You know, and lastly, I think this would be 8, is control issues, hyper independence. I'm going to have control. I never had control before, so I'm going to have control of everything. Control of my money, control of my job, control of my time, little perfectionism, okay? You're going to get yourself caught up possibly in, you know, handling relationships very controlling, handling your children in a controlling way, okay? It's going to be something that out of habit, you now need all this like obsessive control. And if you don't have control, guess what you'll have? Another part of the control is I'm completely out of control. Okay, if I don't feel control and I don't feel in order and I don't feel safe and I don't feel that there's my ducks in a row, if I don't feel my kids are in order, then there's this out of controlness that happens. So that's another one, which I think maybe we're at 8 or 9. Okay, but either way, these are some symptoms. Okay, and they can be handled. It takes courage to handle them. It takes work to handle them, but they can be handled. You know, so I'm going to link below an email that maybe if you have discussions and you can email me to see if there's anything you have questions about, we could try to connect. So there'll be an email linked below that we could further discuss this. It's a small community that's starting, and I'd like to hear the feedback. I'd like to hear the things that people want to say, maybe topics of interest that you might have, okay, or questions, and I can connect back with you. Okay, so there is a community that's starting because people want to heal and they want to take that courage to change. And I hope that you would, you know, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, be a part of the community, because there's a lot of growth here. And I look forward to it. I look forward to my own growth continuing to grow, but I also look forward to your growth, for your hopes to come back, to see that there are answers to complex PTSD, consistent, repetitive trauma, that you've developed certain symptoms and signs that show I have to address this. So I hope you end up, you know, connecting and we'll be able to work together. And I hope you come back to hear more about how to do the healing process. Please email if you have any questions, and I look forward to our next YouTube video. I look forward to continuing to speak, and hopefully we'll have a community to work together. Thank you.